At number 10 is Ariana Grande and Gomez, a divorce I didn't see coming as much as I didn't see it begin. Twitter users began speculating if the duo were calling it quits after Ariana was spotted without her wedding ring at the July 16th Wimbledon tournament in London. To which I ask, how did anybody even catch that? After Gomez and Grande tied the knot in May 2021, the two seemingly garnered a healthy relationship, or so I think, because I didn't hear anything about them being together and no news is good news. The musician's artist and luxury real estate agent separated earlier this year, sources say since January, and have been quietly and lovingly working on their friendship ever since, confirmed by People in mid-July. At number 9 is Sofia Vergara and Joe Manganiello. Sources confirmed to People magazine in mid-July that the Modern Family star and Magic Mike XXL lead have decided to separate after 7 years of marriage. Who are these sources? I wish they would get more specific. What friend of Sofia and Joe would rat them out like this? The couple shared a statement to Page 6 that said, "We have made the difficult decision to divorce. As two people that love and care for one another very much, we politely ask for respect for our privacy at this time as we navigate this new phase of our lives." Goddamn sources, but I guess that's what you get if your job includes acting and you also want to get married. The divorce has had Twitter users saying things like, "This is a loss for the heterosexual community. One of the only straight couples that are equally attractive are breaking up." At number 8 is Ricky Martin and Juan Yosef. After 6 years of marriage, Martin and Yosef are divorcing. The couple's first connection was on Instagram in 2015, and they began dating 6 months later after meeting in person for the first time in London. They made their romance red carpet official at the 2016 AMFAR Inspiration Gala and announced their engagement live the same year before getting married in 2018. The Live in La Vida Loca singer shared the news of their union during an interview with E! News in January 2018, saying, quote, "I'm a husband, but we're having a heavy party in a couple of months. We exchanged vows, and we've signed all the papers that we needed to sign, prenups and everything." Unfortunately, their sparks were always meant to die out as the couple announced their decision to get divorced a few months ago, saying to People magazine, "We have decided to end our marriage with love, respect, and dignity for our children and honoring what we have experienced as a couple all these wonderful years. Our greatest desire now is to continue having a healthy family dynamic and a relationship centered on peace and friendship to continue the joint upbringing of our children, preserving the respect and love we have for each other." In addition, the outlets say that Ricky has cited irreconcilable differences as the reason for the divorce, which, although vague, seems like a pretty hard thing to get over, so I hope the two are happy with their decision. At number 7 is Bill de Blasio and Shirlene MacRae. The pair married in 1994 in Brooklyn's Prospect Park and share 2 children, Kiara and Dante. Suitably, the New York Times was the publication to drop the news of the former New York City mayor's split. After 2 decades of marriage, Bill de Blasio and Shirlene MacRae announced that they had separated, however, still plan to live with each other. In a progressive turn of events, Bill and Shirlene have decided that all they need to do in order to go on is to date other people. Fair enough. About the pair's decision, de Blasio said, "I can look back now and say, here are these inflection points where we should have been saying something to each other. And I think one of those things I should have said more is, are you happy? What will make you happy? What's missing in your life?" While they only plan to separate and explore their options, not plan to officially ever divorce, de Blasio blames much of their marital problems on his busy political schedule, mayoral status, and navigating the COVID crisis. He says, "Everything was this overwhelming schedule, the sort of series of tasks, and that kind of took away a little bit of our soul. I'm glad the two figured out a relation style that works for both of them." At number 6 is Avril Lavigne and Mod's son, also known as Derek Ryan Smith. The Skater Boy singer and Rich Kids Ruin Everything rapper called off their wedding after being engaged for less than a year, sources confirmed to People magazine on February 21st of this year. An inside source close to Avril told the publication, "Avril and Mod's son have been on and off for the past 2 months but are no longer together as a couple. However, sources close to Mod's son dispute this and say that they were completely together and had been sharing a home, and the split came as a total blindside for him." The pop rock musicians met in January 2021 and released a collaborative single titled Flames the same month. They were first romantically linked the following month and got engaged in April 2022. Before the announcement of their breakup, the most reliable of celebrity sources, TMZ, released photos of Lavigne hugging rapper Tyga after having a meal at Nobu together. The images sparked dating rumors between the two musicians, but a source told People, "Avril and Tyga are genuinely friends and nothing more. There's absolutely no third party involved in the split." Oh my god, who are these sources? A rep for Mod's son told People in a statement at the time they were together and engaged as of 3 days ago when Mod left for tour, so if anything has changed, that's news to him. Mod will be performing tonight in Portland at the Hawthorne Theater, but it turns out this statement just did not stand the test of time. At number 5 is Taylor Swift and Matty Healy. Shortly after Taylor split with her 6-year boyfriend Joe Alwyn in April of this year, Swift quickly jumped into a new fling with 1975 frontman Matty Healy, who she met a few months before beginning a relationship with Joe, but brushed off their chemistry as simple flirtation. However, their second meeting proved to mean a little more to them, as many sources claim that this was not a rebound because the split with Joe came more than 6 months before their union. Still, the relationship shook up the Swifties' perception of their idol, criticizing not only Matty but also Taylor for multiple questionable behavioral choices of the rock star, including not asking a fan if they were underage before kissing them, although they turned out to be of age, substance use, and strange onstage behavior. Many other fans of Taylor came to her defense, saying that she's a grown woman and should be allowed to have a little fun. After fueling romance rumors for about a month, Taylor Swift and Matty Healy called it quits. People confirmed in early June. A source told the publication she had fun with him, but it was always casual and they are no longer romantically involved. At number 4 is Billie Eilish and Jesse Rutherford. The 10-year age gap between the Ocean Eyes singer and neighborhood frontman didn't stop them from beginning a bit of a fling even after all the pushback. I think the pushback was not unwarranted given how the power dynamics were a bit off-kilter, seeing as how Billie was once a fan of Jesse when she was only 13 and he was 23. Now at 20 and 30, although both of legal age, people were still obviously a bit weary of this arrangement. Eilish and her brother Phineas O'Connell both defended the romance, Phineas saying, "Listen, as long as she's happy, I'm happy." Meanwhile, a more private Rutherford didn't say much about the relationship. Eilish, on the other hand, made their romance Instagram official by posting their matching Halloween costumes, which poked fun at their age difference. Billie dressed as a baby and Jesse as an old man, which had people understandably cringing on November 1st of last year. After less than a year of dating, the singers broke up in mid-May of this year, in a statement Arette for Eilish made for People magazine, saying, "They revealed that the duo split amicably and remain good friends. All cheating rumors are false, and both are currently single." Although the age difference was worrisome, the two seemed to be having a good time together from what they let us see. At number 3 is Kellyanne Conway and George Conway, the American political consultant and pollster who served as senior counselor to the president from 2017 to 2020 and lawyer, announced in early March this year that they are getting a divorce. The ex-couple wrote in a statement on the split, "We are in the final stages of an amicable divorce. We married more than 2 decades ago, cherish many happy years and 4 corgis we've shared, and above all else our 4 incredible children who remain the heartbeat of our family and our top priority." The statement continued with, "Kindly respect our privacy. We appreciate the many family members, friends, and colleagues who know us, care for us, and support us. We remain united as parents to provide love, joy, comfort, and protection to our beautiful children." Our runner-up goes to Drake Bell and Janet Von Schlemming. The couple got together 4 years ago but has revealed that they've been separated since September 2022, just days after Drake briefly went missing in Florida, leading authorities to issue a message that he was missing and endangered, apparently meeting with Janet at this time to discuss custodial agreements. Hours later, Drake decided to joke around about the situation, saying, "You leave your phone in the car and don't answer for one night and this," as well as speaking out about how badly people get treated due to mental health problems. Janet, who filed for divorce in April, listed the reason for doing so as irreconcilable differences. She is seeking primary legal and physical custody of their 2-year-old son, as well as spousal support, saying, "We ask that his, Christine's, and their children's privacy be respected as they navigate this difficult time." Our number 1 spot goes to Max Minghella and Elle Fanning. The Handmaid's Tale star and Neon Demon lead, and some of the most good-looking people in Hollywood, have announced they are no longer in a relationship with each other after 4 years. The two started dating when they worked together on the 2018 film Teen Spirit, which Fanning starred in and Minghella wrote and directed. Fanning told Entertainment Tonight in 2018, "I mean, we just really love working together. That was like very special and he's such a good friend." The duo kept their romance private for the most part, periodically posting together on Instagram for Halloween or birthdays, but Fanning confirmed in an interview with Harper's Bazaar UK in April that she's single, saying that, "But I'm a hopeless romantic. I believe in love at first sight. Call me crazy, but I believe in those things. I feel that it's my destiny," Fanning said, also adding that she hopes to have kids one day. She didn't explicitly say why she and Max split up in the interview and has stayed quiet about it since, and Minghella hasn't offered up a reason either. However, based on Fanning's comments, specifically the one about wanting children, suggests that it's possible she was ready to settle down and start a family, which conflicted with Max's plans, and that's why the couple decided that things just wouldn't work out. Fans have also speculated that the age gap with Max at 37 and Elle at 25 was the cause for their split, but I guess we'll never have a solid answer because the actors seem to want to keep this stuff private.
How's it going, IO? In this video, we're going to get into reports that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have split up, Amber Heard is being sued yet again, and Spider-Man fans are turning on Tom Holland, all because of one clip that's been making the rounds on social media. So Harry and Meghan are rumored to be going through a trial separation right now, which was said to have been brought on by countless fights over business failures and clashing lifestyles. The news.com PK quoted a source revealing that they are currently not together and saying that Harry needs to go off and find himself. So a trial separation might be the only way that they can resolve their differences and go forward stronger than ever. A source who spoke to the National Enquirer said that their marriage and public image have been adversely impacted by nasty fights with his family and the ongoing feud with their family. Apparently the couple had been under tremendous financial pressure to fund their lavish California lifestyle. That stress, coupled with their emotional issues, has likely made life a living hell and pushed them to this separation. According to the news platform, Meghan had reportedly been staying in their Montecito mansion with the children, while Harry is said to be heading to Africa to film a documentary for Netflix. The idea is that he'll try to rejuvenate himself himself overseas and get away from it all, while Meghan hopes to rebuild her image and dive back into the world of Hollywood so she can establish her own brand. To add to that, an anonymous tipster told Dumois that the two of them had sold their mansion in Montecito and that Harry was living in another place. But as usual, with all of these reports floating around about their relationship and possible divorce, we need to take it with a grain of salt. When it comes to Meghan and Harry, the rumor mill seems to be working overtime, and it's very easy to read stories about them that are not at all based in fact. No wonder that an inside source close to the couple has now hit back at the reports. They spoke to Page 6 and said that the rumors of any kind of breakdown in the marriage are completely inaccurate. They said it's not true and it's literally made up. But there are a few things about this that we do know to be true. For one, Harry is understood to be heading to Africa solo to work on his new Netflix documentary. And last month, the couple's $20 million deal with Spotify came to an end before their Archetypes podcast could see a second season. It was later reported that Meghan and Harry did not hold up their end of the bargain when it came to pumping out content. A source close to the situation told the Post that the Archwell Media Company didn't produce enough episodes to receive the full payout of the $20 million deal. Spotify was also said to be unhappy at the pace in which the couple was working to create these new episodes. Since signing the deal in December of 2020, they failed to produce any solid programming until the Archetypes podcast 2 years later. As for Meghan and Harry's relationship, well, there have been breakup rumors floating around for several weeks now. In June, Lady Colin Campbell, a prominent British author and socialite, and claimed that there had been problems in the marriage supposedly for quite some time. She said, "I have heard from 5 totally reliable sources that Harry called in the lawyers some months ago, and also if there are real problems in the marriage, which there do appear to be, Harry's going to have a heck of a time extricating himself because he has been very overt about all of his failings. If a divorce were to happen, she thinks that he's not in a very good position legally in terms of preserving his position and getting custody of the children." Around the same time, other reports came out alleging that Harry had been spending time alone in 2 different hotels, one near his home in Montecito and another one in LA. Sources that spoke to The Sun claim that he used these as escape suites where he goes to get away from his family home. One is a room kept on standby for him at a leading hotel chain in Montecito, where he apparently stays occasionally without Meghan. His second option is a lot more exclusive. It's a private members club in LA where he's known to stay after going to Barry's boot camp nearby. Of course, the insinuation is that he goes to these places to escape his wife, either because he just needs some time alone like we all do sometimes, or because his marriage is actually crumbling. Although that does sound a bit far-fetched considering how massive his Montecito home really is. I mean, the property is over 18,000 square feet with 9 bedrooms, 16 bathrooms, a tennis court, a guest house with 2 bedrooms and a tea house. So really there is plenty of spaces to go if either Harry or Meghan need some time away from each other. Alright, now it looks like there is more trouble for Amber Heard. It was believed that the ordeal between Amber and Johnny Depp ended with their infamous lawsuit, but now it looks like she is once again facing legal issues following the outcome of the trial. As we know, their 2 legal teams eventually settled the amount which Amber owed, and it turned out to be as much as $15 million. It wasn't long after that she eventually moved to Spain with her daughter to get back on her feet, but now she is once again dealing with legal issues. Her insurance company, New York Marine and General Insurance Co., refuses to drop their case against her. They've already worked out a deal with Depp's team, so she really wants the insurance company to drop their case. Their lawsuit started after she demanded that they pay a portion of the fees that she owed to Johnny Depp, and even though they acknowledged that she had a $1 million liability policy, one that does cover defamation, there's a provision that they're using against her. Specifically, they claim that they're not liable if she is found to have willfully committed the wrongful conduct. Even now that the amount she owed him is settled, the company are still refusing to drop the case. Amber pleaded with the judge recently and said that there is nothing left to dispute. Her lawyers filed a legal document saying, currently New York Marine faces no real or threatened economic harm from Ms. Heard, and she has withdrawn her claim for indemnity, and is not seeking any defense costs from New York Marine unless and until this court's dismissal order is reversed on appeal. But the insurance company refuses to dismiss their claims. So this whole thing is probably becoming a massive headache for her. It's just another way that she's not able to put last year's events behind her. She is trying her best though, and that's pretty obvious. Amber has a new indie film coming out called In the Fire. She attended the 69th Taormina Film Festival in Italy to support the premiere. It was her first proper public appearance since the conclusion of the trial. She was rocking old Hollywood glamour with her hair styled in tight curls that fell around her shoulders and bold red lipstick. She walked the red carpet in a long black dress that featured a belt across her waist. She did several interviews about the project, and she actually managed to hype it up quite a lot. Amber said, it's a beautiful movie about the almost supernatural effect and force of love. It's about the boundaries that love can cross and its creation, and really about the overwhelming power that love has. She went on to say, "I don't want to sound cheesy about it, but it is a movie about love." If you're interested in seeing it, Amber plays a pioneering psychiatrist who sets out to treat a desperate child at a time when psychiatry is not yet a respected science. The press release states that the film is set in 1899, and it follows a 38-year-old American psychiatrist as she arrives on a rich farm in Colombia after being called to solve the case of a disturbed child. This comes after increasingly insistent accusations that the child is the devil. Quote, "While the woman tries to psychoanalyze the child, the nefarious events intensify, and her cure becomes a race to save the little boy from the fury of his fellow citizens, and perhaps even from himself." In the Fire director Connor Orlin also attended the premiere, and he was clearly very proud of his project and happy to have worked with Amber Heard. So with all things considered, this might be the way that she plans to gradually get back into the spotlight and Hollywood itself. It's also been reported that she wants to share her truth in a tell-all memoir, where she would lay bare the details of the 2-year marriage to Johnny and their bitter court battle. Apparently she would be looking for around $15 million for her story, although we don't yet know which publishing houses she might be in talks with. An inside source recently spoke to Radar Online and said that she won't be silenced. Quote, "She feels she was treated very badly during the trial. She feels like she's a victim here." So it seems like she is well and truly ready to speak out after last year's events. As we know, both actors made serious allegations against each other while taking the stand, which is partly why the public became so invested in their legal battle. In that same report by Radar, an anonymous insider offered a quote about the possible book, saying, "While the jury ruled that both celebrities were guilty of defamation, it does seem like the court of public opinion came down hard on Amber Heard. This might be part of the reason she feels she was treated so poorly and wants to share her perspective." So we'll just have to wait and see if this book actually comes to fruition, or if she chooses to share her platform in another way. Now, why are some people coming after Tom Holland and leaving nasty comments under his videos? Well, the short answer is homophobia. Spider-Man fans are up in arms for a scene that he did in the crowded room. Tom was playing the lead character Billy Milligan, who in 1975 was arrested for armed robbery and SA of 3 people on the campus of Ohio State University. After being incarcerated, Billy reportedly engaged in sexual activities with other men, which is something that is depicted in the crowded room. In the scene, Tom enters a queer nightclub wearing a black shirt with black eyeliner. He then meets a random guy in the club and then hooks up with him against a wall. It's just a regular scene that represents the true story of a real person. But of course, when the episode came out, people were quick to share this clip around and make fun of Tom for participating in a scene like that with another man. The backlash spread across social media like wildfire. Under photos and videos of him, you'll see comments speculating about his sexuality and hashtags like "not my Spider-Man." For whatever reason, it feels like there is genuine outrage about this, which is really strange, given that the other Spider-Man actors like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield have also played queer characters over the years, and they didn't get half as much criticism for it. And even if the other actors hadn't played these characters, Tom still has a right to take whichever roles he likes. That's what acting is all about. I mean, it's literally walking in other people's shoes and being someone that you're not. Unfortunately, this series really took a toll on his mental health too. After shooting, he said that he was taking the following year off from acting to aid in his mental recovery. In a video interview with Extra, he talked about the strenuous production of the series and just how much it affected him even when the filming was over. He said, "It was a tough time for sure. We were exploring certain emotions that I have definitely never felt before. And then on top of that, being a producer, dealing with the day-to-day problems that come with any film set just added that extra level of pressure. Juggling 2 roles on one production while playing a character in a severe mental state pushed him past his breaking point." He said, "The show did break me. There did come a time when I needed a break and disappeared and went to Mexico for a week and had a time on the beach and laid low. I'm now taking a year off, and that is a result of how difficult this show was." He admitted that it took him a while to fully shake off the character, even after the series wrapped filming. In the end, working on the show forced him to re-examine his own mental health. He said, "Learning about mental health and the power of it, speaking to psychiatrists about Danny and Billy's struggles, has been something that has been so informative in my own life." Tom said that he's become better at recognizing his own triggers and stresses, especially with certain things like social media. Even though the project had a positive impact on him, the heavy subject matter was difficult to deal with. So it's good that he's now able to take the time that he needs to work on his mental health. So as we know, news broke this week that not only was Ariana Grande splitting from her husband of 2 years, Gomez, but she was also already involved with someone else, her Wicked co-star Ethan Slater, who coincidentally is also very much married. He's been married to his college sweetheart Lily J for about 5 years now, now, but they've been together for 10, and last year they welcomed their first child. They separated a few months ago, likely somewhere around the time that Ariana separated from Dalton. Then they both started filming Wicked in the UK last year. According to Entertainment Tonight, Lily J is said to be devastated over the entire situation. A source close to her spoke to the outlet and said this is not the future that she had in mind. Quote, "She's doing her best to get back on her feet. She's incredibly smart and driven. She is truly the best mother." And just last November, Ethan posted an anniversary tribute to his wife on Instagram, where he wrote, "My best friend, 4 years married, 10 years together. And this is easily the best and most bizarre year yet." But the craziest part about all of this is that Ariana liked the post. So that somehow makes everything more icky. And that wasn't the only post that she interacted with from his Instagram. On May 14th, he uploaded a photo of his son and dedicated a post to Lily for Mother's Day, where he wrote, "Happy first Mother's Day to the most loving, caring, and wonderful mom/person in the world." And yes, Ariana liked that one too. Also, keep in mind that this was only 2 months ago. And to add to that, their baby is not even a year old yet. So how is he able to move on so fast? Hardly any of this makes sense. Even some of Ariana's fans are having trouble defending her, because just from these details, it sounds like there was infidelity involved. According to TMZ, the sources said that two of them started dating several months ago while filming. But if it was back in May, that was around the time that Ethan made the Mother's Day post. It also doesn't help that people have started looking at Ariana's past relationships, where there were also accusations of cheating. And this goes as far back as 2013. One of her very first public romances was with Jai Brooks from the Janowskians. After less than a year together, she started dating the singer Nathan Sykes, and they released a single together called Almost Is Never Enough. But after she moved on with Nathan, Jai accused her of cheating on him. He wrote a very lengthy message on a website called Twitlonger, basically calling her out for infidelity. He wrote, "Yes, I was cheated on. Yes, it does suck. Yes, I was left for another man. And this happens every day to so many people of every age, race, and gender. I happen to be one of those people, and I'm in a situation where I'm constantly reminded of it every day." Then about 2 years later in 2016, Glee actress Naya Rivera claimed that she caught Ariana at her ex Big Sean's house when they were still engaged. In her memoir, she wrote, "We'd been fighting for 5 days straight while he was traveling, and then on one day that he was back in LA, he said that he didn't want to see me. Well, a-hole, I've got a key to your house. I walk in, go downstairs, and guess what little girl is sitting cross-legged on the couch listening to music. It rhymes with Smariana Smande." Naya said that she had learned that she was no longer getting married from the internet at the same time as the rest of the world, which sounds absolutely brutal. There's no doubt that Big Sean is equally at fault here, but it still doesn't look good for anyone involved. And remember Pete Davidson's ex Cassie David? Well, she said that he dumped her one day before learning that he was dating Ariana. Not only that, but some fans have reported that Dalton Gomez's ex-girlfriend Ricky Barton posted a photo on her Instagram story when the two of them started dating. In the caption she wrote, "When you see your ex with the person they told you not to worry about." So when you step back and take a look at everything, yes, you do notice a pattern. Even though we'll never be able to know every single detail about these stories since they're very one-sided. In many ways though, silence does imply guilt, and the fact that Ariana hasn't addressed any of these claims or even tried to correct them is very telling. Even her rumored new boyfriend is being extra quiet. Just hours after the news broke of their relationship, he set his Instagram to private, though at the time he had close to 85,000 followers. Does that mean that he did something wrong? Well, not necessarily, but again, we don't need to know absolutely everything about the story to sense that something is fishy. It just doesn't sit right no matter which way you look at it. So unless one of them speaks out about this and denies their reports, it's going to stay that way. So it looks like this is really it for Ariana Grande and Dalton Gomez. Page 6 has reported that the two of them are going to be divorcing. Sources close to the star said that they have been separated since January, but they've been able to stay friends so there's no bad blood between them. Quote, "They came to the decision together. They were having problems before January, but they wanted to remain best friends." Apparently, Dalton visited Ariana on the set of the movie Wicked in London, which was part of a last-ditch attempt to save their marriage, but sadly that didn't work out. It's been said that they've been really good friends throughout the entire process and that their friends and families have been trying to protect them, most likely from going through all the messy divorce drama. The speculation started over the weekend when Ariana was spotted at a tennis match without her diamond ring. She was photographed in the crowd at the Wimbledon men's singles final on Sunday, sitting between Andrew Garfield and Jonathan Bailey. She looked great with her honey blonde hair from the upcoming movie Wicked, and she was seen getting really into the match, reacting to moments by covering her mouth with her right hand. But of course, most people were focused on her left hand at the absence of her wedding ring. Some people speculated that there could have been a simple explanation. Maybe it was getting serviced or cleaned, or maybe even upgraded. Either way, it seems like everyone was wondering what was was really going on and whether or not that was a sign of some kind of trouble in their relationship. On Twitter, someone wrote, "I'm sorry, I'm not really trying to start anything. I just want to know, anyone else noticed the ring finger has no ring?" Another person wrote, "Anyone else noticed Ariana Grande hasn't been wearing her wedding ring?" This latest speculation comes several months after there were rumors going around that the two of them were nearing a breakup. What happened was Dalton deactivated his Instagram account after comments were made questioning his sexuality. For whatever reason, some fans decided to target him and claim that he was in fact gay. We don't know what these comments look like, but obviously they weren't made in a nice way. Most likely it was both homophobic and intended to bully him. So it's possible that he was just sick and tired of getting these kind of comments and wanted to get off social media for a while. This is all pretty upsetting though, given the fact that the couple have really tried to keep a low profile since they got married. Dalton does have his own Instagram account, but he set it to private shortly after news of their relationship became public. But what's really interesting is that this wasn't even the first round of divorce rumors. 1 year prior, Ariana posted a video doing her makeup while promoting her brand REM Beauty, but it wasn't the makeup that caught everyone's attention, it was the fact that she wasn't wearing her wedding ring. If she didn't address it, fans would most likely jump to all kinds of conclusions and assume that something was going on. Thankfully she did, because she already knew exactly what the internet would say when they didn't spot her wedding ring. She said, "I'm just not wearing my ring. It's getting cleaned. I'm not getting a divorce, so before you start, don't." Basically, she shut that idea down completely. Obviously, she's been in the spotlight long enough to know that even the smallest thing can cause a panic online, so it makes sense that the two of them are very adamant about privacy and keeping their life off of social media. Nearly 2 years after breaking off her engagement with Pete Davidson, Ariana was spotted kissing a mystery man out in LA, who was later confirmed to be Dalton. The couple began dating in January of 2020 and spent a lot of time together at Ariana's home in New York City. In December, after almost a year of dating, Ariana announced their engagement on Instagram. She posted photos of them along with shots of her engagement ring, and in the caption she wrote, "Forever and then some." Several months later, in May of 2021, the couple tied the knot in a small ceremony at their home. Apparently there were less than 20 guests and the nuptials were informal. There was no real ceremony, it was just a casual exchange of vows. Ariana later shared photos from their wedding on Instagram. At the time, an inside source spoke to People magazine and said, "They're a great fit together. Dalton's entirely unfazed by the scope of her celebrity, and it's very grounding for her. He's young but mature and knows what he wants out of life." So they really seem to be great together, which makes it all the more upsetting that they're now separating. So it looks like Sofia Vergara and her husband Joe Manganiello have separated and are divorcing after 7 years of marriage. The couple released a statement to Page 6 and said, "We have made the difficult decision to divorce. As two people that love and care for one another very much, we politely ask for respect of our privacy at this time, as we navigate this new phase of our lives." An inside source said, "Sofia and Joe have been growing apart for a while now and are taking some distance from each other to contemplate their future. Some fans have noticed that the two of them have not been seen together as often as they used to. Right now, Sofia is in Italy with her best friend celebrating her 51st birthday, and she recently posted a few sexy photos on Instagram. But people in her comment section were quick to call out Joe's absence and wondered if they were going through something in their relationship. Joe did post a birthday tribute to his wife on Instagram, but the message didn't seem overly warm or personal. He simply wrote "Happy birthday Sofia" in Spanish, and fans were questioning his post since he didn't refer to her as his love or his wife, and compared to his previous ones, it just seemed a little obligatory. Another source that spoke to Page 6 claimed that he was supposed to be there with her in Italy, but he never ended up going. Quote, "At the start of Sofia's big birthday trip, those close to her were explaining away Joe's absence, with the excuse that he was busy filming back on the East Coast. That excuse barely held up due to the writer's strike, but once the actor's strike took effect, he could have been on the first flight, and he quite clearly is not. So now no one out there with her is even attempting to pretend that it's not over. It is over, it's done." While it's not unusual for a couple to grow apart over the years, these two were definitely a fan favorite. They married in a lavish Palm Beach ceremony in 2015 in front of 400 guests, including almost all of the cast of Modern Family. So Ariel Winter, Ed O'Neill, Eric Stonestreet, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Julie Bowen, Sarah Hyland, and Ty Burrell. As for Joe, his co-stars from True Blood were also there, people like Anna Paquin and Stephen Moyer. Other celebrities were also in attendance, including Reese Witherspoon and Channing Tatum. So it was just such an amazing guest list. Sofia and Joe met for the first time through Jesse Tyler Ferguson at the White House Correspondents Association dinner back in 2014, and there was instant chemistry between the two of them. In fact, it was so strong that Sofia broke off her engagement to a businessman called Nick Loeb, who she was seeing at the time. Apparently Joe asked for her number a few weeks later when she split up with Nick. He told People magazine in 2020 that he knew pretty quickly that he could trust her, and she knew pretty quickly that she could trust him. He said they're both the kind of people who are capable of putting the other person ahead of themselves. He was capable of putting her wishes ahead of his own, whatever they were, and she was capable of doing the same. In his opinion, once you have that, you don't let go of it. So it's really sad to see that they have decided to go their separate ways. Okay, so let's talk about the most shocking news to come out of the weekend. The fact that Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn have allegedly broken up after 6 years together. Entertainment Tonight reported on Saturday that the two of them quietly split up a few weeks ago. So let's see if we can answer the question that everyone's asking. Who broke up with who? Well, according to an inside source close to Taylor, the split was amicable and it was not very dramatic. They said the relationship had just run its course. It's why Joe hasn't been spotted at any shows. While this does make sense, fans have done a little bit of digging and they've now come up with a few theories about what really happened. They think one of the songs they wrote together may have been about their own relationship and could hint at the reason for their split. Hours after the news broke, a video surfaced online of Taylor crying while performing the song Champagne Problems. She wore a red gown and played piano while she was singing the lyrics, "She would have made such a lovely bride. What a shame she's effed in the head," they said, "but you'll find the real thing instead. She'll patch up your tapestry that I shred." The song is about a man proposing to a woman and getting turned down. It tells the story of a couple who deal with a failed proposal. It tells a story of a couple who've dealt with this failed proposal even though their family members have already popped the champagne in celebration. At the time, Taylor and Joe were dealing with engagement rumors, so some people feel that Champagne Problems tells a story about the demise of their own relationship. Fans speculated that they ended things because he really wanted to get married and she didn't. There's also the idea that her song Midnight Rain is about him too. The lyrics describe Taylor leaving behind the comfort of a healthy relationship to avoid settling for something less. She sings, "He wanted a bride, I was making my own name, chasing that fame, he stayed the same, all of me changed like midnight." She goes on to sing about an ex-boyfriend who was a little too perfect, so much so that she decided to end the relationship to focus on her own career instead. Of course, because of the timing, she was most likely talking about someone like Tom Hiddleston, who she dated for 3 months earlier on in her career. But some people think it also applied to her relationship with Joe. Even though there are a million different fan theories circulating around the internet, it's important to note that neither of them have actually come out and confirmed their breakup, although it's no wonder that people are genuinely shocked. Just a few weeks ago, it was reported that Joe was traveling with Taylor on her Eras tour, and he planned to be at a few of her concerts. Not only that, but the two of them have worked very hard to keep most of their relationship private. Over the years, they've had to deal with countless rumors that they secretly got engaged and married on the down low. This speculation reached new heights when Taylor was seen with a large ring on her finger in the documentary Miss Americana. With the release of Lover in 2019, this theory was absolutely everywhere. Joe eventually spoke out about this in an interview with WSJ magazine. He said, "If I had a pound for every time I think I've been told I've been engaged, then I'd have a pound of coins. I mean, the truth is, if the answer was yes, I wouldn't say. If the answer was no, I still wouldn't say." For her part, Taylor addressed the speculation in her song Lavender Haze. The track is filled with feminist symbolism and explores her feelings about being not only a woman in a heteronormative relationship, but also being famous on top of that. She sings about the never-ending speculation that she and Joe are engaged, secretly married, or planning to have children. The lyrics say, "They keep asking me if I'm going to be your bride. The only kind of girl they see is a one night or a wife." When speaking about the inspiration behind that song, she said, "When you're in the lavender haze, you'll do anything to stay there and not let people bring you off that cloud. I think that a lot of people have to deal with this now, not just like public figures, because we live in the era of social media, and if the world finds out you're in love with somebody, they're going to weigh in on it." She explained that she and Joe have had to dodge weird rumors, tabloid stuff, and they just ignore it. So Lavender Haze is about the act of ignoring that stuff to protect the real thing. Apart from keeping their relationship private, they also seem to be very good at supporting each other's careers. They even started collaborating on music together over the pandemic. And apparently Joe wrote several songs under the pseudonym William Bowery. So many of these were featured in Folklore and Evermore, and those albums were hugely successful. Folklore ended up taking home the 2021 Grammy for Album of the Year, and Evermore was nominated for the same award at the 2022 ceremony. During her acceptance speech, Taylor gave him a shout out. She said, "Joe is the first person that I play every single song that I write, and I had the best time writing songs with you in quarantine." The actor is credited as a co-writer on the songs Betty, Eggs Exile, Champagne Problems, Coney Island, and Evermore. So they obviously had a great relationship if they could create music like that together. Even though most fans were upset at the idea of them splitting up, others are a little more optimistic about the whole thing. Because if it's really true, that means we'll be getting some pretty amazing breakup songs in the next couple of months. So I'll make sure to keep you guys updated as this story unfolds. Okay, if you've been on TikTok recently, you might have seen a few videos alleging that Euphoria star Sydney Sweeney is having an affair with Top Gun actor Glen Powell. The two of them are currently filming a romantic comedy in Australia, and some people believe that they're doing a little more than filming. Photos and videos of them together started to make their way across the internet, and from there things started to spiral out of control. Glen's girlfriend then unfollowed Sydney on Instagram, so that's when we started to suspect that there might be a little truth to these rumors. And now we've just found out that she actually broke up with him. Gigi Paris posted a video of herself on Instagram. She was looking happy while walking alone in the street. In the caption she wrote, "Know your worth and on to the next." So to a lot of people, that was confirmation that Glen did in fact do her dirty. Right away her comment section was flooded with women sending her messages of support and encouragement. It's actually very sweet just how many people flocked to her side. They wrote things like, "Good for you, you deserve better," and "Your world just got bigger." Of course, a lot of comments were dragging Sydney and Glen as well. One person wrote, "We all saw the public disrespect, let alone what happened in private that we don't know. Onward and upward after taking out the trash." But whatever it may look like, we still don't know the whole truth. That's because an inside source that is close to the model has since denied the cheating allegations. They spoke to People magazine and said Gigi and Glen had broken up several times. They had been on the rocks since Top Gun came out. Gigi was never happy with the long distance filming, and when she came to Australia, they both decided to break up for good. In March, she traveled to the film set in Sydney, but she returned to the US less than 2 weeks later. At the time, it was speculated that they had some kind of a fight, and she decided to fly back early. A second source then spoke to the magazine and said that there is absolutely no truth to the rumors. Quote, "Gigi only unfollowed Sydney on social media because she never followed her back. This has nothing to do with Glen and Sydney. She is aware that they never hooked up. He takes his work very seriously, and it was tough on their relationship. They insisted that distance is actually what drove the couple apart, and it wasn't anything to do with infidelity. Gigi is busy modeling while Glen is busy filming, so their schedules have just been taking them to different places." As for the romantic vibes on set, well, the source insisted that Sydney and Glen are both just doing their job because they are actually filming a romantic comedy. Apparently they're friends and co-stars that met on set, so that kind of settles that. But why are these cheating rumors only getting louder and louder? People are now accusing Sydney of being a real-life Cassie Howard, and that says a lot. Part of the reason is because of the photos that she posted on Instagram a few days ago. There were 3 very interesting pictures of her getting cozy with Glen. The two of them were wearing matching clothes and leaning into each other in a way that made it seem like they were a couple. I mean, if you didn't know that they were both taken, you would actually think that they were together. It's pretty clear that they are spending a lot of time together off set. And there was another set of photos that showed them going for a swim at the beach, and they were practically cuddling in the water. Again, they look like a couple. There was also a viral TikTok video that shows Glen sweeping Sydney off her feet and dipping her backwards. In the clip, you can see that they're on the couch and he's supporting her back and dipping her down low as if they were dancing. The whole thing looks extremely romantic, and it only added to everyone's suspicion. Then there was a red carpet interview where their body language was kind of flirtatious. In the clip, you can literally see the sexual tension between them. It's in everything from the long pauses to the eye contact. And as the interview goes on, they both get closer and closer to each other until they're almost pressed together. In fact, just from that video, people have decided that there is something going on between them. Yeah, there's obviously chemistry there, which is gonna translate really well on screen for a romantic comedy, but fans believe there is something more happening behind the scenes. The good news is that all this drama is going to be great for their new movie. There's no better marketing for a rom-com than a real-life cheating scandal. I mean, there were just so many in the 90s and early 2000s, especially when the genre was at its peak. On Monday, the co-stars attended CinemaCon to unveil the first footage from their movie, and the flirting continued on stage. While they were presenting, Glen made a joke and said, "We love seeing ourselves on the big screen." In response, Sydney said, "Oh please, Top Gun," to which he responded by saying, "I love when she calls me that." The two of them had a lot of banter on stage. Glen said, "As you could probably guess, this movie is about 2 people that hate each other. Sydney plays a character who is a real nightmare." And then Sydney calls his character a real a-hole. So they were definitely doing a great job selling the movie. So earlier this week, it was reported that Matty, Healy and Taylor Swift are well and truly over. And while neither of them has officially said anything about the breakup, Matty seemed to reference it on stage during one of the 1975 shows. One audience member was holding up a positive sign that said "You are loved." He seemed to be very appreciative of this message and responded by saying, "That was very kind of you." I'm sure that it's alluding to, but before he mentioned the breakup, his voice kind of trailed off. Then he said, "As you are aware, I'm not very online at the moment, and I'm sure people have just been calling me a C-word relentlessly. I've not been online, but what I have been with is my boys. And honestly, as much as I appreciate that, it's so beautiful and I thank you, but I don't need it because I've got them." So he does have some awareness of the online discourse, though he's definitely chosen to stay away from it, obviously because most of the backlash is directed straight at him. But there were also reports coming out saying that the public scrutiny wasn't actually a factor in their breakup. One source told People magazine that Matty likes to provoke a response out of people. Quote, "Taylor's a grown woman more than capable of forming her own opinions about people. No one forces her into anything, especially not these days. She's on top of the world." That source also made it clear that their relationship was always a casual one. He said, "They were never boyfriend-girlfriend or exclusive, and were always just having fun. There is no drama, and who knows what could happen again. It was a good time and it ran its course." Another source then spoke to Page Six and said, "Taylor Swift's fleeting romance with Matty Healy was never anything serious, and we surely won't be getting any love songs out of it. So the story is that they broke up because they're both extremely busy and they just realized that they're not compatible with each other. Quote, "Taylor's friends want what's best for her and aren't shocked that their relationship fizzled out, since she recently got out of a long-term relationship. Everyone who really knows her has been saying all along that this was just a fun, good time thing that would last as long as it lasted and it would be no big deal once it's done." In terms of the media frenzy surrounding Taylor and Matty, The Insider described the whole thing as stupid. They said she will not be writing albums about him because it was just a summer fling, insisting that Taylor can't have a good time with anyone without the press marrying her off to them. Quote, "She's allowed to let off some steam and sow her oats afterwards without people claiming first that she's head over heels. And then she's breaking up with the guy. It's not a breakup, it's a natural evolution of a little fun thing whose moment is over." So it's entirely possible that this wasn't anything more than just that. And judging from Matty's recent antics, it seems like he has well and truly moved on. The 1975 performed at Denmark's Northside Festival where he was seen making out with a male security guard. Footage from the concert shows him holding a bottle of alcohol in one of his hands, kneeling down in front of a smiling security guard and then asking him for a kiss. More than anything else, this moment was a sign that he is well and truly single. While he was with Taylor, he made it very clear that he would no longer be kissing fans in the audience out of respect for her. And now, even if he is still a little heartbroken, at least he has his friends that can pick up the pieces. In a profile for The New Yorker, Matty Healy explained that the band operates with a Wizard of Oz element. He said one of them needs a heart, one of them needs a brain, one of them needs this other thing, and they're all on the road together. Which sounds like they're very supportive of each other no matter what. Well, all things considered, Matty will probably come out of this more than okay.
First up, let's talk about Avril Lavigne breaking off her engagement to Mod Sun and apparently moving on quickly to Tyga. The two have broken up almost a year since they announced their engagement. A source revealed that the couple have been on and off for the past 2 months, but are no longer together as a couple. But it seems like not everybody was in on this news. A rep for Mod Sun shared to Billboard on Tuesday that they were together and engaged as of 3 days ago when Mod Sun left for tour. So if anything has changed, that's news to him. So far, neither Avril or Mod have made a public comment about the current status of their relationship. This comes as a surprise to fans of Mod, who've only just recently shared his love for his fiance. He said, "I have found such a partner in this world to go through the chaos that life gives you. I have found that person. I'm with a real grown woman who has gone through it all 10 times over, and she makes me a better person." This news hasn't made Mod Sun affect his current tour, who still has quite a few concert dates left. When Avril talked about Mod Sun also not too long ago, she said, "I knew we had a very strong connection, unstoppable connection, from the first week of writing and working together in the studio. Immediately, he made every day better. It was like I had known him forever. As time went on, things just kept getting better, and it felt incredibly natural." But as it seems, Avril's mind has changed since then. After 3 years with her boyfriend Mod, Avril seemed to find comfort in Tyga. But could this be something more than friendship? Avril was seen embracing the rapper Tyga in a parking lot just outside one of LA's most famous restaurants, Nobu. The two reportedly had a very intimate dinner where they definitely got very comfortable with each other after they were spotted leaving together in the same car. A source has reported that the two have been seen hanging out together a lot more frequently, but they have yet to confirm if this is romantic or not. This is all pretty shocking to fans, as Avril and Modson were just seen together at the Grammys earlier this month, and they appeared to be quite happy together. These photos emerging seem to be the reason for Avril's rep to go forward by confirming to the media that she is no longer engaged. Considering she was spotted with Tyga just a day before the announcement, makes it clear she wanted to take control of the speculation. Tyga has yet to address the speculation that TMZ has come forward, saying the two are just very good friends, who have been for a long time, and it's nothing romantic. A source also added saying, Avril and Tyga are genuinely friends and nothing more. There is absolutely no third party involved in the split. This comes in regards to the current infidelity rumors. So far, neither Modson or Avril have let on to anything being different on their social media. With Mod still posting videos from his tour, it's hard to know exactly which way this is gonna go.